I just went through the mid-March Costco deals and there is actually some really good stuff in there. A few of these I grab every single time when they go on sale. Couples look healthy and absolutely are not. And there is one combination of products in this flyer that turned into a recipe this week, and I will explain to you how to put it all together. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Claudia, a holistic nutritionist and hormone coach. I help business entrepreneurial women in their 40s and 50s reduce inflammation, support hormones, boost metabolism, and feel stronger, leaner, and more confident without dieting. I went through the full mid-March Costco flyer and online deals, and I'm gonna walk you through everything worth grabbing right now. So you have all the prices in the description below with the deal and the expiry date. Grab a tea and let's go. I will go to the produce, to the frozen section, pantry, fridge, and I have few kitchen gadgets that I would like to share. And as always, I will have a skip list. I will share amazing recipes in this video to support your weight loss without feeling you are on a diet, so stick around. Before we start, a quick note about organic versus conventional food. Whenever possible, I personally prefer organic because it reduces pesticide exposure and because of the farmer practices they are implementing. But I also believe that healthy eating needs to be realistic and budget friendly as well. Not everything in this video is organic, so my goal is to show you the best option available right now that help you eat more real food to get more proteins, more fiber without spending a fortune. If organic is available at a good price and it fits your budget, fantastic. But if not, these are still great choices. So let's start with produce because this week the section is genuinely strong. The first one on the list are the Concerto Grape tomato. So there is $2 off and you can buy this for $5.89. Tomatoes are one of the richest food sources of lycopene, which is one of the most protective antioxidants for cardiovascular health. And here's the detail most people miss. Lycopene absorption increases significantly when tomatoes are cooked and eaten with fat. Raw tomatoes are good. Slow roasted tomato with olive oils are way better for you. So using them as an ingredient rather than just a snack, it's a smarter nutritional move. They are also low in calorie but high in volume and flavor, which practically makes meals more satisfying without requiring you to eat more food. Slow roast the whole container at 150 degrees Celsius or 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes with a splash of balsamic and few sprinkles of thyme. When done, you can spoon them over cold burrata, add a little bit of salt and a drizzle of olive oil. So both on this week's list. Or blend the roasted tomato with a can of white beans and a little vegetable broth. You get a silky, naturally thick soup that needs nothing else. Either way, 45-minute roast gives you ingredients you can use in different meals across the week. The next one in produce is a vegetable I will defend loudly and often. And these are the Brussels sprouts. There is a $2 off for this bag. So if you think you don't like Brussels sprouts, I would bet almost anything that you've only had them boiled. So boiled sprouts are a completely different and significantly sadder food. Roasted Brussels sprouts are sweet, are nutty, and get crispy edges that my family generally fights over. The cruciferous family, like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts, contains compounds which support how your body metabolizes and clears estrogen. Cruciferous vegetables may support estrogen metabolism, which is one reason I like including them regularly in midlife. They are also very high in fiber, which is doing double duty here, slowing digestion and stabilizing blood sugar on one end and feeding beneficial gut bacteria on the other end. So a cup of Brussels sprouts give you roughly as much, or in some cases more vitamin C than an orange, depending how you measure it, and significant vitamin K to support your bone health. Roast them, cut side down without touching them until the edges are properly charred and caramelized. So that's where the flavors is coming from. In the last 5 minutes, toss with a spoon of white miso paste, a little bit of butter, and a little bit of honey. This miso caramelizes into the sprouts and creates something genuinely addictive. So stay with me as we will come down to Brussels sprouts to create an elevated recipes a little bit later. But first, let's check a fruit that gets completely overlooked, and that's papaya. And there is $1 off right now, so people walk past papaya because they are not sure what to do with it. And I think that's a real shame because it's one of the most digestively useful fruit you can eat. It contains a digestive enzyme called papain that actively breaks down protein. As we get older, natural digestive enzyme production slows. That means even if you are eating well and getting enough proteins, which I always encourage, you might not be absorbing it as efficiently as you could. Papaya with or after a protein-heavy meal can genuinely help you with that. 1 cup also delivers more than your full daily vitamin C need, which directly drives collagen synthesis, something that declines alongside estrogen in perimenopause. Beta-carotene and folate round out the nutritional profile, and because it's naturally sweet and very low in calorie, it satisfies that afternoon craving for something sweet without derailing blood sugar the way a processed snack would do. If your papaya is still slightly firm, which Costco ones often are, you can cut it juliennes or grate it and dress it with lime juice, fish sauce, and a little honey. Add a little bit of mint and chili if you like the heat. This time inspires slaw, is punchy and bright, and pairs beautiful with the wild haddock. We'll get to it in a few minutes. So this is a mild fish against that slaw is genuinely restaurant level food. And remember, you're supposed to be on a diet. Now, 2 more products before I review the frozen section, and I want to spend a few minutes on both because they are simple food with a practical angle that often gets missed. First one is Clementine, and there is $3 off right now, and you can buy this for $7.99. These are peak season right now, so flavor is actually excellent. I know Clementine feels like a basic buy, but I want to give you an angle of this that I would give to my clients. So each one delivers about 40% of your daily value, or about 30-40 milligrams of vitamin C. Yes, immunity is important, but what I care about more here is collagen. As estrogen drops in perimenopause and menopause, collagen production drops as well. That's your skin, your joint, your connective tissue, all of it. So vitamin C is one of the primary drivers of collagen synthesis, and getting it consistently from whole food is more effective than supplementing it after the fact. They are also low glycemic for a sweet fruit, and the fiber slows absorption. But fruit on its own will raise blood sugar faster than any fruit paired with something else. So the practical move is always what goes with it. Juice and zest for clementines, whisk with 2 eggs, a little butter, and some honey, and stir over low heat until thick. That clementine curd, spoon over Greek yogurt. It's breakfast that takes like something you order at a cafe and takes 10 minutes to make. And right next to clementine, in the product section this week, are the apple. So there is $2 off right now, and you can buy this for $7.99. Really solid value for something that stores well and gets actually consumed. Everybody loves apples. And I want to say one thing about apples that most people don't know, because they deserve more credit than just the label being a good snack. Apples are rich in pectin, a soluble fiber that supports beneficial bacteria and help with fullness, and it's linked to better metabolic function and body weight regulation. The skin is where most of the pectin lives, so don't peel them. And the fiber is also what gives the sustained fullness after eating an apple. It's not the volume, it's the fiber, actively slowing digestion. Quercetin, the main flavonoid in apple skin, has well-studied anti-inflammatories and antihistamine properties. Slice the apple thin, cook it in butter or ghee until golden, then add a teaspoon of white miso paste and a drizzle of honey right at the end. It sounds like an odd combination, but it's one of the most sophisticated things you can put on your morning yogurt. Alright, so produce done. Now we're moving to the frozen section. Royal Hard Wild Haddock Fillet. Now they have $6 off, and you can buy this for $21 $14.99. This is one of my favorite deals in the whole flyer, and I will explain why. Wild caught, MSC certified, sustainable. That's independently verified, not just a label someone printed and stick it to the product. There are no additives. This product of Canada, and it's individually vacuum packed. Now that packaging detail is the one I keep coming back to. You pull out one fillet, the rest stays frozen perfectly, so there is no waste and you have no pressure to cook the whole package for tonight's dinner and then wondering what you're gonna do with the leftovers. I know haddock is not that popular like salmon, but as a practical freezer protein, especially for busy ladies who want something clean, affordable, and nearly impossible to mess up, it's a mild fish, flaky, takes on any flavors you put near it. Has 20 grams of lean proteins per serving. It's high in B12, which is worth mentioning because B12 deficiency in ladies of 40 is very common and people don't realize until they see the fatigue, the brain fog. Selenium is for thyroid function and phosphorus for bone health. And generally is low in mercury, so you can eat it several times a week without any concern at all. So try a miso glaze instead of the usual lemon and garlic combination. 1 tablespoon of white miso, mix it with some honey and a splash of rice vinegar. You spread it over the fillet and you marinate it for 10 minutes and then you can broil the fish for 5 to 10 minutes until it's done. The miso caramelizes and the fish stays incredibly moist. It's one of those preparations where the results is completely disproportionate to the effort you put in. So now the next frozen item connects directly to the recipe I've been building towards. So stay with me here. Frozen wild blueberries. So there is $4 off. I want to make sure you actually notice the word wild on this bag because it's not just marketing word. Wild blueberries are genuinely different food from cultivated ones. They are smaller, more intensely flavored. Wild blueberries are generally higher in anthocyanins and antioxidants capacity compared with the farm ones. Wild variety grows in more difficult conditions and develop more protective compounds as a result. And on the frozen versus fresh question, I addressed this already in other videos, but I get asked a lot about it. So frozen blueberries are picked at peak ripeness and frozen the same day. Fresh ones from the grocery store have been traveling for weeks. In terms of antioxidant content, when they actually reach your plate, frozen regularly is the winner. The freezer is not a downgrade. Keep that in mind. Anthocyanins directly combat oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, the kind of low-grade systemic inflammation that drives brain fog, joint discomfort, stubborn weight, molar disruptions. Wild blueberries are one of the most practical and genuinely tastier food you can add to your daily routine to address that. You can saute a handful of blueberries with a splash of balsamic vinegar, a little bit of honey, and in 5 minutes you have this rich syrup. Make sure you add the honey at the end because you don't want to ruin the raw honey properties. This sauce is the one in the duck recipes that I'm going to talk about later in this video, which is the centerpiece of today's list. La Brome Lake Split Boneless Duck. There is $4 off for this package. Down here, this is the elevated recipe moment. Okay, so this is what I've been building towards. 3 products from this week's list: duck, wild blueberries, and Brussels sprouts. That goes together in a way that genuinely feels like a restaurant meal on a Tuesday evening. La Brome Lake is a Quebec company, free-range, antibiotic-free, and raised well. The boneless split makes it completely approachable, even if you never cooked duck before. And I want to address that duck is fatting meat right now because I'm done with it. Duck fat is relatively high in monosaturated fat compared with many other animal fats. Closer profile as olive oil. Your body uses that kind of fat for hormone production. In midlife, we actually need this fat. Duck is higher in iron than any other poultry, rich in B12, zinc, and selenium. That combination of high-quality complete protein with monosaturated fat means a very satiated meal. You eat it and you don't crave anything else. That is important, especially when you focus on fat loss. Now, I promise you an elevated recipes because I don't believe in dieting. This is the pan-seared duck with wild blueberry sauce and miso honey Brussels sprouts. Score duck skin in the crosshatch pattern, seasoned generously with sea salt. Place the skin side out in a cold, dry pan. You don't need to add any oil. Bring to medium heat and leave it completely alone for 15-20 minutes until the skin is deep golden and the fat has rendered out. You can flip it over and finish cooking at 190 degrees Celsius or 375 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven for 5 to 8 minutes until done. I always say use a thermometer to measure it. While it rests, in the same pan over medium heat, you can add a big handful of frozen wild blueberries, a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and a pinch of thyme. So let it bubble and reduce for a few minutes until it becomes like a syrup. Let it cool for a few minutes and then add a teaspoon of honey. You serve the duck over miso honey Brussels sprouts, we just talked about early in the video, and you spoon the sauce over everything. That's the frozen section. Pantry has some real staples this week and a couple that deserve more attention than they usually get. Unreal dark chocolate coconut mini bar, so there is $3 off right now. It is genuinely rare for me to flip over a chocolate bar and feel good about what I see. There are 3 ingredients: organic coconut, Organica Sava syrup, and fair trade dark chocolate. That's it. No sugar alcohols, no palm oil, no gums, and there are 3 grams of sugar per bar, but that's normal. It's a dessert after all. Dark chocolate contains flavonoids that improve blood flow and support cardiovascular health. Coconut provides medium-chain triglyceride, a fat that brain metabolizes directly for quick energy. And at 3 grams of sugar, you'll get real chocolate satisfaction without the blood sugar spike that leads to cravings 20 minutes later. That spike and crash cycle, it's largely what makes people feel like they have no willpower around sweets. It's a blood sugar issue, not a willpower issue. Melt 5 or 6 bars, spread thin on parchment paper, press in toasted pumpkin seeds, dried chili flakes, and sea salt, freeze for 20 minutes and break into pieces. That is a hostess gift, a dessert board, or a treat you keep in the fridge all week. And the other pantry item I'm excited about this week is the one most people drink every morning without thinking about what's actually in it. Zavida Organica whole bean coffee. $10 off whole bean coffee, and this one I'm genuinely happy to recommend. Zavida Organica, 100% organic Arabica, Canada Organic, USDA Organic, Rainforest Alliance certified, shade grown, and medium dark roast. You cannot go wrong. Coffee gets an unfair reputation. It's actually rich in polyphenol chlorogenic acid that support blood sugar regulation and reduce chronic inflammation. The research on moderate daily caffeine intake is largely positive. The issue is always been quality, not the coffee itself. Conventional coffee is one of the most heavily pesticide-sprayed crop in the world. If you drink a cup of coffee every day, that daily exposure compounds over time. Organic removes that concern entirely, and the price difference per cup is not significant. Chlorogenic acids particularly slow glucose absorption and improve insulin sensitivity. For late in midlife, the blood sugar regulation becomes more challenging, and that's a great background benefit from something you are already drinking. Use a cold brew as a marinade for the chicken drumsticks from the fridge section. Cold brew mixed with smoked paprika, apple cider vinegar, some honey and garlic. Marinate the chicken overnight and then roast it the next day at 220 degrees Celsius or 420 Fahrenheit for 35 minutes. You don't even taste the coffee, and there is a crust that develops on the chicken that people will ask about. And right next to this in the pantry is a product I use in more recipes on this list than any other. So that's the Coosur Squeeze Extra Virgin Olive Oil. So there is a $4 off right now, and you can buy it for $9.99. Extra virgin olive oil in a squeeze bottle, and I genuinely love this format. The number one reason most people underuse or overuse olive oil is that portioning from a large bottle is awkward. So the squeeze bottle removes that friction completely, and you actually can use a reasonable amount. That matters more than it sounds. Extra virgin olive oil is probably the most well-researched food in terms of nutrition. Oleocanthal, one of the olive oils, polyphenols, show ibuprofen-like anti-inflammatory properties in lab studies because it affects similar biochemical pathways. If you are dealing with chronic joint pain, hormonal inflammation, or the low-grade systemic inflammation that makes everything harder, making extra virgin olive oil your primary fat source is one of the highest return dietary habits you can build. A lot of ladies are afraid of fat in their diet and then can figure it out why they are hungry again 2 hours later. So keep in mind, fat keeps us satisfied, so there is no need to be afraid of fat. Do what Italian grandmothers have always done. Drizzle good quality olive oil over vanilla ice cream with flaky salt and a crack of black pepper. This is a viral food trend actually, and it's a 3-ingredient combination that converts everyone who tries it. So let me know in the comments below if you try it. And the next pantry item is the one I get more questions about. Safe Catch Wild Yellowfin Tuna. You save $4.50 right now and you can buy this for $13.99. This is the tuna I recommend without exception to any of my clients who eat fish regularly. Every major tuna brand tests a sample of their catch for mercury, not Safe Catch. Safe Catch says it tests every tuna individually and uses a strict 0.1 ppm mercury limit, which is why it's a brand I recommend most. That is not a small thing. Mercury accumulates in the body over time, and for us, eating fish several times a week for proteins, which I encourage, that difference matters. The ingredients are simple, so it's just simple wild yellowfin tuna and sea salt. You can open a can and you find a solid tuna steak, 42 grams of protein per whole can, with all the natural omega-3s and B12, because there is nothing else added. There is no water to drain anything away. Try Vitello Tonato Reimagined. Blend a can of Safe Catch tuna with a tablespoon of capers, lemon juice, and some olive oil, and enough yogurt to make it pourable. You can spoon it over cold chicken, toasted cauliflower, or hard-boiled eggs. It sounds unusually, but it tastes amazing. Or try the Italian classic that nobody makes it at home anymore. Warm the tuna gently with a can of white beans, crisp sage in olive oil, and you can do some lemon zest. You can have it with a sourdough bread. High proteins and genuinely satisfying. The next two pantry items are the basic ones, and I'm referring to the Canmar Organic Milled Gold Flax Seeds. There is a $2 off. Now, milled flax seeds, I know, but stay with me because this bag is doing more for hormonal health than almost anything else on this list, and I want to make sure you know about it. Flax seeds are one of the richest food sources for lignin, phytoestrogens, which may help modulate estrogen metabolism, which is one reason flax is often helpful in midlife. That's not something most people hear about from their doctors, but the research on this is solid, and it's one of the first things I add with my clients managing hormonal symptoms. Like 2 tablespoons daily, it's an effective dose. Milk is non-negotiable here because whole flax passes through largely undigested, so the nutrients simply aren't available to be absorbed. So flax meal works best. Also, it's very high in soluble fiber that feeds gut bacteria and one of the best plant-based sources of ALA, omega-3 fatty acids. Store in the fridge once the bag is open or the fats go rancid fast. 1 tablespoon of milled flax with 3 tablespoons of water. Let sit there for 5 minutes until it becomes a gel-like. You can use it in your recipes as this makes a great egg substitute for baking. So if you ever run out of eggs or are cooking for someone who avoids eggs, that's a great solution. Or you can make flax crackers. Mix half a cup of milled flax with a 1/4 cup of water, add sea salt or whatever seeds you like, sesame, rosemary, little chili. Spread paper thin on parchment paper and you bake for 20 minutes at 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. There is zero flour, zero processing, and it stays forever. So you have it handy. You can serve it with burrata or with roasted tomatoes. That snack board would run you $30 at a cafe. And right next to it in the pantry, something I use as a functional ingredient rather than a sweetener, and that is Comvita Manuka honey with UMF 12 plus. There is a $6 off right now. The UMF label is the one thing to look for with Manuka honey because it's independently verified. UMF stands for Unique Manuka Factor, and it certifies the actually NGO content, the compound responsible for Manuka's antimicrobial activity. UMF 12 plus, it's a meaningful potency level. A lot of Manuka honey on shelves doesn't carry this certification, which means you have no idea what you are actually buying. Comvita is one of the most trusted producers in New Zealand, and this is the real deal, that's guaranteed. I use it as a medicine, not as a sweetener, although I use it in some recipes. It has documented antimicrobial properties, actively supports beneficial gut bacteria while inhibiting harmful strains, and appears in clinical wound healing research. So you can use any raw honey, but raw, it's the important thing. It's still sugar, just be mindful of the portion size. Try honey fermented garlic. You can peel a full head of garlic, mix it with some Manuka honey in a small jar, and you can leave it at room temperature for 2 to 4 weeks, turning the jar daily. The garlic ferments slowly, the sharpness completely disappears, and the cloves become almost sweet and deeply nutritious. 1 clove a day, it's a great way to improve your immune system. The honey becomes thin and garlicky and is one of the best drizzle for cheese or roasted vegetables. All right, now into the fridge section, some strong ones here. So Baby Bell original and mini cheese variety pack, there is $3.50 off, and these are $13.99. Now I know Baby Bell sounds like a lunchbox item, that it's exactly why it works. Has simple ingredients, individual wrap, portion control, requires zero prep, and gives you proteins and fat. You can always have it in your bag. So the ladies I work with are not failing with their weight loss because they don't know what's healthy. They are failing at 3 p.m. when they are between calls and starving. Having something like this already in the bag, it's what closed that gap. So sometimes convenience matter. There is 5 grams of proteins per piece, and there is calcium and vitamin K2, which help directing calcium to your bones rather than your arteries. Your bone density in midlife declines, so K2 is one of the most underappreciated nutrients, and sometimes we don't get enough. Pair it with 1 clementine and a handful of walnuts for a protein, fat, and fiber, and vitamin C. That's a complex snack in less than 30 seconds. Or you can build a quick snack plate here. Baby Bell, a few olives, some roasted tomatoes, and then you can have 2 unreal bars as well. The next one is where you impress people, and that is the Bella Cassara burrata cheese. There is a $4 off. This is fresh mozzarella with a creamy, almost liquid center that collapses when you cut into it. That is burrata. You eat it cold, do not cook it. Heat destroys the entire point, which is that contrast between that slightly firm outside and the cool and rich interior. Higher moisture than aged cheese is lower in sodium, and it's a good source of calcium and protein. And because it's so rich and creamy, a little goes a very long way. That makes it surprisingly weight loss friendly when you use it as the feature of the dish rather than a component of something bigger. Spoon the slow roasted balsamic tomatoes from earlier in this video when are still warm directly over burrata. The temperature contrast between the jammy warm tomatoes and the cool creamy cheese is one of those combinations that stops conversations. Flaky salt and crack of black pepper and a drizzle of olive oil on top. You are done in 4 minutes. Or roast seedless grapes with olive oil and thyme at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes until they blister and release their juices. And you can spoon over burrata. It's sweet, it's savory. Everybody at the dinner party will ask you, what was that? For gut health, the next one is the most functional product in the entire fridge section. And that is the wild brine raw organic sauerkraut. There is a $3 off and you can buy this for $9.99. Raw is the word that makes this product worth buying. Most commercial sauerkraut is pasteurized, which kills the bacteria and makes it essentially just pickled cabbage, which has its own place in some dishes. I get it. Wild brine is organic and unpasteurized, so that means the live culture are still active. That's a probiotic food rather than a condiment. About 70% of your immune system lives in the gut. The diversity of your gut microbiome affects your hormones, affects your mood, metabolism, your body weight, and your energy level. The research connecting gut bacteria to body weight regulation, it's now quite solid. Eating fermented food consistently is one of the most evidence-based habits in nutrition and also one of the most underrated practices. So 2 tablespoons alongside of meal, it's enough. Don't heat it because the heat kills the cultures. Always add it cold after cooking if you add it to your meal. I personally eat this raw and cold with my breakfast. So fermentation also increases the bioavailability of the nutrients in the original cabbage and generates B vitamins that weren't there before. You are not just getting the probiotic, you are getting more nutrients from the food itself. So do you know you can use the brine too? Most people pour it down the drain, which is such a waste. Sauerkraut brine is loaded with active cultures and has a bright, clean tartness that works beautifully as a salad dressing base. You can mix some brine with a little bit of olive oil, Dijon mustard, and black peppers. You can just put it in a jar, shake it, and put it over any protein balls. Or make sauerkraut deviled eggs, mash the egg yolks with a little bit of brine, add Dijon mustard, Greek yogurt, and 1 or 2 tablespoons of a good mayo, filling the egg whites, and you can top with a little bit of sauerkraut on top and some paprika. Next in the fridge is the aged cheese that I use it in few different ways this week. Is the fermented cheese I loved. It's a Kerrygold Dubliner Irish Cheddar. There is $2 off right now and you can buy this for $7.99. Kerrygold is a brand I trust consistently. Grass-fed dairy tends to have a more favorable fatty acid profile, including more omega-3s and CLA than conventional grain-fed dairy. Dubliner is aged cheese, which means low lactose than younger cheeses. A lot of ladies who can't eat dairy can actually tolerate aged cheese without any issue. And aged cheddar is just more interesting to cook with. Slightly crystallized texture does things to a dish that regular mild cheddar simple can't. So you can simply add it to any cheese platter or grate it into scrambled eggs in the last 30 seconds of the heat. It melts different than young cheese, creating a long, slightly chewing strength that completely changed the texture of the scrambled eggs. And the last protein buy in the fridge section is one I want to make a proper argument for. And these are the Kirkland chicken drumsticks, and they have $5 off right now. Now, these are not organic, but it is a whole food, and that helps you eat more proteins without overspending. Now, if organic fits your budget, amazing, choose that. Drumsticks are most underrated cut of chicken. More flavorful than breast, harder to overcook, cheaper per pound, and they reheat without getting too dry, which makes them ideal for meal prep. The fear around dark meat when you are looking to lose weight, it's unfounded, and I would like to retire it. Yes, slightly more fat and calories, but that fat is predominantly unsaturated, and dark meat has more zinc, more iron, more B vitamins, and significantly more collagen-rich connective tissue than white meat. Try this Persian citrus brace. Like, arrange the drumstick on a baking dish with clementine juice and zest from this week's list, a pinch of turmeric, chicken broth, and sliced onion. You can replace the chicken broth with water. Cook covered at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour, then remove the lid, cook for 20 more minutes to get the caramelization. The citrus and warm spices create something completely unexpected, especially when you just have a pack of drumsticks to cook with. Or use the coffee marinade from Zavida section. Now, quick run through 2 kitchen items before I share the skip list. First one is the Mew salad spinner. There is $6 off. Like, genuinely useful. Like, if you buy and wash your greens, which you should as it is more budget friendly, this gadget is a must. I eat more greens when they are properly prepared, and I think most of people do too. And the second one are the bento glass storage food containers. I choose glass over plastic wherever possible. It doesn't leach, tolerate heat better, and last forever or until I break them. Having good containers, it's what makes prepping and portioning meals ahead of time actually happen. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's talk about what I would skip. It's just they don't align with me right now. And the information here is for your awareness only. The Kellogg Vector cereals, don't let the protein claims on the front distract you from the sugar content and additive list on the back. So flip the box before you buy and check it. I say stick with the whole food. So cereal will never be a champion breakfast for me. And the last one is the 3 Farmer chickpeas and fava beans. When I saw this, I was impressed. So bad the ingredients are not my favorite. Like, the oils and the sugar profile don't work for me. But here is a tip. You can roast your own chickpeas. Drain 1 can, mix it with some olive oil, sea salt, your favorite spices, and you can bake it for 30 minutes or until done at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Better flavor, cleaner, and half the cost. Alright, so this is your full mid-March roundup. My favorite from this entire flyer, it was hard to decide, but I promise you in the beginning I will give you some insight. So it still is the wild haddock fillet. I know there is nothing flashy about it, but wild caught, sustainable, with 20 grams of clean proteins per serving, which is individual packed, and there is $6 off, and can keep it for a month in the freezer. You cannot go wrong with this. This one goes in my cart every time I see it on sale. If you want help turning grocery like this into meals that support your hormones, your energy, and weight loss that actually stick, head over to my website, claudiaholisticliving.com. Everything I teach there, it's built around real food. If you like the recipes I share, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so they can learn to cook these elevated recipes for a Tuesday night dinner. For my favorite Costco product this year, check out this video. Keep it simple, keep it real, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!